Привет, Stalkers! You want to have a sunrise suit and I want to make them. Unfortunately, I don't have the capacities to do so, but you have the skills to make your very own sunrise suits. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make a sunrise suit based on military garments. You don't need special crafting skills for that, you don't need special machinery, you just need to follow this tutorial. At the end of this tutorial, you will not only have a sunrise suit cosplay, but furthermore, a functioning piece of equipment that can prevail in outdoor conditions and on LARP events as well. But before we start working on the suit, I have to share something with you. It's this here, my echo detector. You can actually win this echo detector. All you need to do is quite simple. Join the Stalker squad by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Leave a like on this video and leave a comment on this video. The winner will be drawn after 2 weeks and you will have the chance to have a very own echo detector for your expeditions through the zone. Just don't try to get past the brain scorch with this kind of gear. But you know, for Alicia and Corden, this is fine. And I just want to thank all of you for your continuous support. Stalker is more than just a game for me. It had quite a big impact on my life and I just want to return a little bit of gratitude to the community with this artifact detector. May it serve you well. We will be working with a Dutch tank driver suit, which is made out of aramide. You know, aramide, the stuff that's kind of heat resistant, exactly this fabric. To modify this thing, we will add pads on shoulders, elbows and knees. Also, we're going to remove the strips on the shoulders because we are going to put pads on the shoulders. We'll keep them because we might need them in the future process. Furthermore, mobility is good, but the legs in the suit are unfortunately way too long for us, so we will have to shorten these a little bit. Measure where you need to cut. Make a marker with chalk. Later, fold the leg so you can draw a straight line and you know where to cut. Also, add a few centimeters to it because you will fold it later so you have a nice and clean edge. It is better to check twice. Close the zipper as much as necessary and then use a needle and some sturdy yarn to make sure that it stays closed. After that, you can use a soldering iron to melt the plastic of the zipper, if it's made out of plastic of course, into one piece. By that you can ensure that it will never open and thus never break. Premium protection for this recommended. Unfortunately now you can't open it anymore, but now also you can't break it. So it's not beautiful, but it will hold. Next step, cutting this entire thing off. After that, turn the entire pants inside out, fold an edge for like a centimeter or so and fix it with needles. Make sure that when putting a thing on the machine, the needles are pointing towards you so you can easily remove them while sewing. This will save you some time. If the garment that you're using has flags and you wish to remove them, simply do so. I'll also remove the shoulder strips, which are kind of bothering me here, but I'll keep them just in case for later. The black pad can be made out of different materials. I'm working with gold leather for this one because it's both flexible enough and also sturdy enough for the first inner layer of this costume. Also, it's cheap. I'm usually trying to use recycled materials, scrap materials, or materials that have been sorted out by industrial production because they're deemed not good enough. Furthermore, we will need some decent cotton batting or something else that will give in under pressure when being sewn together. We're going to trace this thing 6 times because we need 6 pads on this entire suit. Depending on your body proportions, you might need to adjust the proportions of the pads as well. For example, if you have wide and big shoulders, you might need bigger shoulder pads than elbow pads. A sharp knife will be very handy for this process here. To get this padded effect on your suit, we are going to sandwich different materials together. We'll start with the rather thick and sturdy goat hide, put the padding over it, and then put a thin layer of upholstery leather over that as well, and sew this together. The upholstery leather will be pulled towards the rather stiff and not so flexible goat hide, and by that we'll have this nice padded effect on it. If you don't have access to any kind of leather store or something, you can always check out your local thrift store, second-hand store. My absolute advice for you stalkers is recycling. You don't need to buy new fabric or new leather by the meter. Just go and find pieces that you can properly scrap. That's the way a stalker would do it. Also, don't use vegan leather. Vegan leather is just nothing but greenwashed plastic. It is a very thin layer of fabric with a thin layer of polyurethane on it. It will break down over time. You cannot prevent this process. Even if you care for it with silicone spray, it will break down. It is neither ecological nor economical. Don't use it. If you want to go vegan on this one, use black fabric. For example, moleskin or any other sturdy canvas fabric for that. Hell, even old black jeans would probably do the job. But please don't use vegan leather. You are not doing anything wrong with black fabric. When you sew this together, first sew one time across the middle, just to make sure that this entire thing will not slide around when you have it on the machine. I use a ruler to make sure that all my lines are symmetrical. This is important because you do not want this thing to look chaotic in the end. To get a more bent look, you can always cut a triangle into that pad. It is good to squish the pad together so you can see the shape that you want to have, make a marker, and then cut out the fabric that you don't need anymore. After that, squish everything together, sew it together with a sewing machine. I use a zigzag stitch to kind of cover up the little scar that I left on this entire thing. Make sure that you just have an overlapping edge though. Since I use the same color of yarn, it will be covered up and probably not even noticeable. At this point, we can prepare the entire suit for the pads. This step will be unique for this suit, but the production process after this step will be universal for all kinds of suits, even if we make them completely from scratch. We will take off the original pads of the suit, but first make some markers so we can properly reassemble this thing later. The original pads will be then scrapped and used as cover for the leather pads that we're making. For this, we need to trace the shape of the original pads on paper. Also, we have to add two lines, one outline and also the line on the inside on which we are going to fold this entire thing. A little trick for symmetry: fold this thing in the middle, cut it out, and then trace the shape onto the pad that you want to create. The leftover fabric from either the collar, the shoulder, or the legs can be used to create a nice, wrapping edge around our pads. For this, I have just simply folded it around the edges and secured it in place. The stretchier your fabric is, the better the outcome will be on this step. Just lay the fabric around the corner like that and make sure that it stays in place with needles or with clips. On this suit, luckily, we can recycle the original pads that it came with. So we're going to cut out the shape that we need, fold the edges properly, and then iron over it just to make sure that the edges stay where they are. Later, we're going to fix it with clips and sew over it so that everything stays in place. If you work with a suit made out of aramide like I do, you will notice that ironing something that is heat resistant is not a good idea, but with some patience, you will get decent results. You could also work with a fabric glue, but I decided to not do that and instead just simply rely on a decent seam so a suit was circled around this thing to make sure that everything stays in place. After that, I'm going to sew everything onto the leather patch. You see, it is a little bit difficult with sturdy and rather stiff fabric, but in the end, you will have a decent result that you can work with. You can also correct small mistakes later or cover them up with decent weathering. Now it is time to cut off the excess material. After this, you will see why the markers were so important for us. This is the most efficient way to reassemble the entire suit. Open the inner side of the suit, where the pads are not sewn on, and fix the pads on the outer side. After that, you can put this entire thing in a sewing machine, sew over it, and in the end, fold the suit inside out and close the seam again so you can simply have a flat surface to work on. Before sewing everything together, I recommend fitment checks though, just to make sure that everything is where it should be. Since the elbows are usually the body part that's more bent than the others, I have created a more round shape for those pads. Now that we know how to make the pads for a suit, we can focus on the other parts. For example, this suit came with a hidden hood. The hood was hidden on the back side in a special pouch for it. Unfortunately, it's way too huge and out of shape, so we are going to fold it the way we want to have it, fix it with needles, and later sew it back together so we have the desired shape for our hood. After that, we have the suit done and can focus on the vest. This might be the greatest challenge for many stalkers, but don't worry, it is possible to craft your own stalker sunrise suit vest. All you need for this is either a mannequin and an old t-shirt, or yourself and an old t-shirt and someone who will draw the shapes of the sunrise suit on it. Don't worry, you don't need to be too accurate on this one. Cut the t-shirt apart later, transfer your shapes onto paper, then fold the paper in the middle, cut it out so you have like two symmetrical sides, and then trace that thing and put it on cardboard. Don't forget to add details like the rings that go around your armpit and shoulders for the rubber band later. Since our vest will be filled with a foam plate, we'll have to add additional centimeters on the bottom to create a flap which will open and close with Velcro so we can add or remove the plate from the vest. So at least 6 centimeters on it. Better more than less. You can always remove fabric. Adding fabric is difficult, removing it is easy. Now that you have your template ready, put it on your fabric and trace the outer shape. We will cut out the outlines first. Later we'll take this entire cardboard pattern apart to also get the different parts for the strips and stuff like that. When you do this, always consider decent sewing allowance. I'm using around 1.5 up to 2 centimeters sewing allowance. If you don't use the metric system, that's probably the thickness of a chicken nugget. And with that, you'll be able to sew everything together without things, ripping apart on the edges. Unfortunately, Cordura is very stiff and not very flexible, and also does not react with heat too much. It was a design choice which I highly regretted. I recommend a more natural fabric, like canvas, like moleskin, or some kind of cotton-based tan fabric for this project. Since this process takes quite some time, this might be the right moment, guys, to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you don't want to miss out. So join me in my journey through the zone by subscribing to this YouTube channel and maybe even joining our Discord channel. Link is in the description below. Separate the straps from the rest of the pattern and trace them on your fabric. Also, don't forget to add sewing allowance so you can fold it later and have nice and clean edges on this project. We will wrap the fabric around the split lever. Also, I have some leftover gray goat hide that I will use for details. So this one will be wrapped around the split lever and glued on the inside with contact cement. Don't worry about the, underside of the split lever, because this at the end will be covered with Velcro, so it won't be even visible. Use contact cement to fix everything in place. Don't worry, it will look a little bit messy, but in the end, that won't be visible at all. Also, we'll sew everything together at the end. Never ever rely on contact cement to hold together structural important parts of your costume, especially if these parts are either under pressure or under tension. Let the chest straps dry and continue with the fabric loops that will hold your upper chest straps in place with a rubber string towards the armpits and shoulders. For this, we'll need fabric like this. We will take some glue them together, press them together, apply some pressure, and later sew them together as well. Since we're going to make a lot of those loops also for armpits and shoulders, I recommend using a respirator for this unless you want to start seeing funny things or hearing the monolith in your working room. When you have done that, squish them in between the Velcro and the already pre-glued straps. Remove the excess Velcro and glue everything together. I recommend sharp scissors for just cutting off the Velcro overlay. As you see, I've already applied the elastic band for the lower shoulder straps already. We'll figure out how much we need later. Right now, we can just simply eyeball it. With the straps glued together, now we can also sew the straps together. This is very important because glue alone will not hold this thing in place. The straps are structurally important parts of this costume. To add more detail, I have made also some, structural straps for the chest, which I have roughly pre-revered. Also, the Velcro for the shoulder straps has been applied as well, and the Velcro for the chest straps too. Since we now have the outside and the inside of the vest prepared, we need to focus on the edges, and for this we need to measure the entire circumference of the outer edge of the vest. We'll cut out a fabric strip at least that long, better a few centimeters more, and also we'll add some sewing allowance to put this thing decently together. Later, this entire thing will be folded inside out. Flexible materials will allow for more errors than Cordura, unfortunately. Use the pin needles to stick everything together. Don't worry, since we'll be turning this vest inside out, all the ugly seams and edges will not be visible at all. They'll be hidden inside towards the foam plate. Sewing allowance is very important here, so it's better to add more than not enough. You can always remove stuff, but adding fabric is always difficult. Sew it together and later trim the fabric and remove some excess fabric to make sure that, it does not squish inside too much and there's enough space for the foam plate, which we are going to prepare in the next step. If you remember the foreshadowing, you will need to make more of those fabric loops here. These fabric loops make sure that the string around your armpits and shoulders stays in place, and will also fix the upper chest strips towards the chest piece in case you take them off, so they just don't fall to the ground. How much you need really depends on the size of the fabric that you're using and also your size. So just eyeball it, make a calculation how much you need, and prepare those things. Consider adding a little bit of sewing allowance because you will sew them together with the rest of the vest. And before you start sewing everything together, don't forget to glue them on with contact cement. The good thing about contact cement is, if you notice that the placement is not ideal, you can always take them off and reapply them on another position. Do that before sewing everything together. Before we are throwing everything together, don't forget to add the Velcro flap on the bottom and also the Velcro on the inside of the vest, because you're going to fold this thing around it. The back piece doesn't need to be so detailed, since the upper chest straps are fixed with those rubber bands towards the armpits, and the lower chest strips are fixed with a rubber band onto the back piece of your costume, like on the inner seam, so it won't be visible anyway. Plus, we will be wearing usually oxygen tanks or a rucksack or anything else on our back so it doesn't look so empty. In the end, your vest will look kind of like this. I know it's a total disaster, but don't worry, it will look way better when you fold it inside out. In the end, you just need to sew everything together, fold it inside out, and shove the foam plate inside of it. Transfer the outline on your foam plate and cut it out with a sharp blade. I got a damaged foam plate from a retailer and I got it with a discount. I don't worry too much about it since cosmetic errors are not relevant here, since that side will be facing towards my body anyway. The last thing you need to do is simply weather this thing. And I did it kind of like this. But if you want to have a more detailed guide on how to weather your costume, I made a video about that right here, you can check it out, and I hope that it will help you in finalizing your results. Greet Stalkers, it's me, Starion, from the future, so consider this as a time-space anomaly. I made a very crucial mistake while working on this thing, and that mistake was that I did not consider, while making the pattern for the Cordura hole, that you will need to bend the material. So you will need more material on the outside, less material on the inside. To fix this issue, I see two valid options. The first one is try and error by adding several centimeters to everything, you know? Add several centimeters to everything and then go a little bit try and error. You will have to, you know, open up some seams that you made, you will have to fix some stuff, you will have to cut some stuff, but in the end it will fit. It will be trial and error. Good thing is, if it's on the inside, it doesn't matter. Like you can see on this one here that on the inside I had to add a little bit fabric on the corner because, you know, the corner was just too much under tension and there was just not enough material. Method 2 is you take the plate that you want to shove into this Cordura skin that I made here and you will wrap this one with wrapping foil and then with masking tape. This is quite important. Do not just use the masking tape because you will not get it out. After you've done that, you have created some kind of mummy mutation of masking tape and foil. You will need to dissect it properly. So take a sharp knife, go around the bottom, just slice it open on the bottom so you can slide out the foam from the husk. Now we have the mutant's husk, which is good because the mutant's husk is basically nothing else but the sum of the surfaces of the foam plate that we want to cover, meaning you have pretty much all measurements already on hand if you simply take the husk that you just have and cut it apart into its unique surfaces. So now that you have created your vest, let's see which features it has. The major feature is this one is made to measure, meaning it's exactly made to suit your body. If you expect, you know, that Christmas dinner might be a little bit too tasty next year and you might get a few additional centimeters in chest or abdomen circumference, maybe add a little bit more of that rubber band fabric here that I added, just in case you wanna still be able to fit in that thing the years after. Second, this thing is sturdy. Like we use Cordura for this one, but if you work with any other military fabric or military grade fabric, like heavy canvas or moleskin, one of my favorite fabrics, moleskin, you will have a pretty decent vest here. If you take note, many Stalkers in Stalker 2 will have these buckles on their chest piece. And I think it's a great addition because this explains how you can fasten your oxygen tanks to your costume, or even better, how you can add maybe like a rucksack to it. You can get plastic buckles on the internet which look pretty much like the ones in game. I decided to just ignore that and go with these metal buckles because they're just more sturdy and give a more, you know, zone look to the entire outfit. And to the military collectors and military surplus guys here in the community, little challenge, tell me where I took these from. I will not tell you where this one is from, but it's from some Soviet era equipment. But if you manage to tell me where I took this from, I'll be freaking darn impressed by you guys. In the original Stalker trilogy, we would not know how Stalkers would wear the oxygen tanks on their backs. I decided to solve this problem by making a unique carrying system that enables me to wear different things on my back. So I can either put oxygen tanks on it or I can put rucksacks on it. As you see, I used some mystery buckles here to add rings with leather straps on it and some hooks on the back but I can change the stuff that is on my back. And because the system is not only good looking but also functional, I can simply push down this piece here and access my rucksack like that. Now I can reach for all my important belongings. This is a peak upgrade for cosplayers and LARPers because you can store water in here, you can store snacks in here, you can even put a sleeping bag in there. Many costumes are not functional, Stalker costumes are, and if I just want to put it back on, just go like that. I don't even have to look at it. In moments like these, I can actually see how much effort was put into the design of the original Stalker outfits, not only from the trilogy, but also the modified, adapted version for Stalker 2. For example, these parts here are in Stalker 2, they're not in the original trilogy. The developers decided to add these in Stalker 2. This is a massive upgrade in my opinion because it makes the suit much more customizable. The Stalker series offers an amazing range of outstanding outfits, but I think the undisputed masterpiece here is the sunrise suit. A suit so common, but it doesn't stand out anymore. But it should, because it's not only functional, but also highly customizable and affordable as well. A true masterpiece of Stalker craftsmanship in the zone. And now you can make your very own. If this video helped you and inspired you to make your own simplified version of the sunrise suit costume, I would highly appreciate it if you would leave a like on this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because this really helps me in the algorithm. And if you want to stay in touch with the community of other Stalkers, there's Discord, link in the description below, so make sure to join the Stalker squad to not miss out any further expeditions into the zone. Because one day we just might be able to find the Klondike of Artifact, or we'll just end up zombified. We'll see about that. But whatever happens, I will be very happy to have you guys on board, so join me on that next expedition. Until then, good hunting, Stalkers. Stalker is more than just a game for me. It had quite a big impact on my life, and I'm very happy to be able to present this amazing... That's my phone. Das geht in die Outtakes.